Welcome everybody back to another edition of the Tech Woke channel, Tech Woke podcast. And on today's podcast, I'm your host, Christopher Okpala. On this podcast, we talk about cybersecurity, career, and life. And in today's podcast, we're going to go over something that a lot of people talk about. It's called eMASS. eMASS is something that you use for compliance. We're managing compliance in different sectors of the federal government. And then also too, with using eMASS, it's a compliance tool. It's one of the very many compliance tools. There's different ones in the GRC space. It's just one of them. And then we're going to just talk about it and just go over it and talk about some different things that have anything to do about eMASS. So if you have any questions or concerns as we go through this live, I'm just going to just break down what it is so you can have a better understanding about what eMASS is. And as we go through it, you should understand what eMASS is in the federal compliance space and who uses it, who pertains to it, who uses eMASS, and that's kind of what is going on with that. So what is eMASS? A lot of people always ask this question, what is eMASS? What do we use it for? So we're going to go through that. eMASS is something that you use in the GovTech space. Everybody keeps talking about it. Do you have eMASS experience? Have you ever been inside eMASS? Can you make plan of actions? That's a lot of things that people talk about. How can you use these compliance tools, especially when getting inside the government space? eMASS is just one of the tools that people use inside the compliance space, okay? Because I know people keep asking about it. So what is eMASS? So a lot of people don't know. eMASS stands for Enterprise Mission Assurance and Support Service, okay? It's a system that many people in the DoD and in the federal space, they use eMASS to help track the cybersecurity and compliance and make sure that it is in place, so make sure that you have it in place, make sure you're tracking, make sure the system is life cycle, because without eMASS, a lot of people would just be using things like Excel sheets, things like that to track different things. What does eMASS actually do? A lot of people always ask me, what is eMASS? Everybody keeps talking about it. What is eMASS? What does it actually do? So, and if you're on the live, if you're coming in, just make sure you say something. I see somebody that waved in. If you have any questions or concerns, just let me know. Wave, say hi, just let me know you're there. So make sure we're getting to y'all. So what does eMASS do? Like, for example, in the federal compliance space, you go through 7 steps of the RMF lifecycle. eMASS is helping track everything, whether it's documentation, stakeholders, the process. It's helping with that process overall and making sure that you're keeping stakeholders, evidence, documents, everything. It's designed that if anybody goes to it, they can always track what's going on with the system. So in general, it's like, and this is what I wrote, register the systems, document security codes, track vulnerabilities, manage POA&Ms, support ATO packages. That's what the purpose of eMASS is. It tracks all of that information. So if you're using eMASS, it's very important, especially in the federal government space, they actually do understand how to use it. Yeah. And that's one of the tools that you're going to use. So who uses eMASS? A lot of people use eMASS, mainly like information system security officers, information system security managers, information security engineers. Shout out to Edward. Thumbs up. How you doing, brother? Thank you for coming on the live. Security control assessor, authorizing officials, system owners, cybersecurity engineers, and program managers. A lot of people have access to eMASS. Sometimes people might not know how to use it, but a lot of people have access to eMASS, and these are some of the people that need to have access to it on a need-to-know basis, okay? And if you're coming on the live, say hi, wave. I know it's in the evening, so just, make sure you track and make sure I know that you're there. So that's kind of what eMASS is. So what information lives inside eMASS? We kind of went over it. He said, Curtis, he said, what's good, everyone, excited to be here. Samuel said, give me thumbs up. And then we got tapped in. So it's a lot of people in. Say, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? I'm on the West Coast, so I know some people are coming in from the East Coast, so it can be around 7, 8, around 8 o'clock, around y'all where y'all at. So what lives inside eMASS? There's different things that's inside eMASS. You got system registration, hardware inventory, software inventory, security categorization, NIST 853 controls, POA&Ms, vulnerabilities, authorization decisions, continuous monitoring. He said, sent this to my community. Yeah, that's what it is. So that's kind of what it's going. Thank you for sending it to the community. That's what eMASS is in a nutshell. Common tasks that ISSO performs in eMASS. We got somebody said, hi, how you doing? Okay, so some of the tasks you're going to be doing, you're going to be registering systems. You're going to hardware inventory, software inventory, security categorization, NIST 853, plan of action and milestones. You're going to be uploading a lot of things, continuous monitoring, things like that. Are y'all understanding what eMASS is? Are y'all tracking what it is? And you make sure y'all understanding what it is. So that's kind of what it is. eMASS is what we're talking about. So why is eMASS so valuable? A lot of people don't know how to use it. It's just a regular software tool to navigate it. There's a lot of people don't know how to navigate it. It's just a lot of people don't tell you what it is. Understanding the RMF workflow, updating documentation, support and authorization of an ATO, perform continuous monitoring tasks, work confidently to make sure that you're understanding what's going on. So that's kind of the thing that happens. With eMASS, it could take some time, probably a month, 2 months. It depends on how much you use it. You can use eMASS a lot, a little bit. It just depends on how much you play around with it. Sometimes you might not use it at all. Sometimes you might use it a little bit, but it can just depend on how you're using it, what you're using it, but it just could take a long time. It just depends. A lot of people are afraid of eMASS, and yeah, so that's kind of what the basis of eMASS is. Okay. So with that, I'm just going to he said tracking. Then we said, do you enter control implementation tool? Yeah. So what I'm going to do for y'all, so y'all can get an understanding what eMASS is. I don't have access to a real eMASS, but I do have an emulator of what eMASS is. So what I'm going to do is kind of just show you on my screen what eMASS is. So I'm going to share my screen. So this is kind of what eMASS will look like. eMASS has different things like the dashboard, what's going on with the eMASS, what's going on, WSS, what's the system. You're entering details about what eMASS is. You're going to go to the controls, right? You go to eMASS, you're going to go to, this is a lot of what people are going to see, review the controls, go into the controls. You're going to click in the controls. You're going to like update. Sometimes you want to view POA&Ms, right? You want to add POA&Ms. You want to test the control, right? Those are some of the things you're going to be doing when you're working in eMASS. And it's going through, and a lot of the times that's what you're going to be doing in eMASS. You're going to be submitting up workflows, importing artifacts, right? For example, say if you have an SSP, you're going to put in artifacts, evidence, POA&Ms, checking on what's going on, checking on reports, adding in assets, inventory, and applications. So that's kind of what you're going to be doing inside eMASS. To those that don't understand, that's kind of what the basis of what eMASS is and what you're going to be doing when you're working inside eMASS. He said, do you enter security control implementation statements in this tool as well? Yeah, you kind of do that. You do the same thing. You're going to be putting in implementation statements, things like that. Depends on what the control is. All right. Is it similar to comply up? I'm not sure what comply up is, but for me, that's kind of the thing I use when I do training and different things like that. I'm not sure what comply up is. Does anybody have any questions on like what eMASS is in more depth, or are y'all currently using eMASS? Is anybody using eMASS? Okay. So if you have any questions, just ask some questions around. We just, in this live, I just wanted to kind of give you a brief understanding on what's going on. He said I use Archer. Yeah, Archer is another compliance tool. There's various different compliance tools. And he said any common features in this tool also for like change management and SRIs. It's just continuous monitoring manually. But I'm at the state level. What's the difference between eMASS and for CSAM? In an interview, how can you explain the familiarity with CSAM? I never use that one. I use eMASS, but they're all the same amount of tools, from my opinion. For eMASS, a lot of governments do use them. Yeah, it's mainly in the government. I never heard of eMASS outside of government, but it's still the same kind of tool. Said Leonard, you can learn in a month. You be working with that. Yep, I agree. You can be working with it a lot, things like that. Okay. So yeah, eMASS is just mainly a compliance tool. I just wanted to come on here just to kind of break that down to everybody, because a lot of people ask me a question about what is eMASS, what is the software, what is that? So I just wanted to come on live to kind of break that down so y'all can get an understanding. And if you do want to use the tool, yeah, definitely I have the tool for access. I have a discount code for my eMASS emulator. So if you ever want to check out the eMASS emulator, it's going to be to the end of July, and anybody can go and check it out. So just make sure you check it out if you want to. But I'm going to do mainly a lot of different tutorials and things like that. So you can check it out. But I just wanted to kind of give you a brief understanding about what eMASS is and understand it. So if you want to check it out, just check out RMF Academy and make sure you get an understanding of it. But I appreciate everybody for coming on live. I just want to kind of get a brief of what it is, and we're going to peace out. So thank you everybody for coming on.